Today's bonus video deals with 5 films who hid their true meaning or diverted wildly from their original source material. We're going to be talking about Breakfast at Tiffany's, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Rebecca, A Streetcar Named Desire, and a film called These Three. So let's get right into it and find out what made these films so controversial that they had to divert from their original source material to ever even see the light of day in mainstream Hollywood. Hi everyone, this is a little bonus video that I thought I'd put out, and it's going to be about movies that hid their true meanings. I'm going to talk about 5 movies: These Three, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Streetcar Named Desire, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and Rebecca, that all had hidden meanings or whose source material was far more controversial than the final film ended up being. And we're going to talk about that in this short video, movies that hid their true meaning. Please like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know if you've seen any of these movies. I hope you enjoy the video. The first movie up is Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Based on a Tennessee Williams series play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, it starred Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor as a troubled couple whose marriage is unraveling under the weight of secrets. In Williams' original version, Brick's alcoholism and bitterness stemmed from repressed homosexuality, feelings for his late friend, Skipper. However, the film adaptation, produced under the moral restrictions of the times, stripped away the gay subtext almost entirely. Brick's despair is instead portrayed as a simple guilt over Skipper's death, a vague emotional wound rather than a forbidden love. The result is a film that hits at something deeper yet never says it aloud, leaving audiences to read between the lines. Taylor's Maggie burns with sexual frustration while Newman's Brick remains cold and distant and impotent, a metaphor for a love that could never be openly spoken of in 1950s Hollywood. Breakfast at Tiffany's. To the casual viewer, Breakfast at Tiffany's seems like a romantic comedy about a quirky New York socialite, but Truman Capote's novel told a much darker story. Hollywwod was not a party girl, but a coded portrait for a sex worker who lived off the grifts and attention of wealthy men. From the film adaptation, sanitized Hollywwod, played by Audrey Hepburn, turning her into a charming, eccentric dreamer instead of a damaged survivor. Her moral ambiguity was erased, and the raw loneliness at the heart of Capote's story softened into a sentimental glamour. Yet Hepburn's haunting performance, her wistful eyes, and detached charm gives away the truth. Holly's smile is a mask, and her glittering world is built on illusion. Also, in the original story by Truman Capote, the character of Paul, Holly's savior, was gay, but he was turned into a heterosexual romantic lead in this film because homosexuality, as with Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, was not discussed in mainstream films of the day. Alfred Hitchcock's Gothic masterpiece, Rebecca, was adapted from Daphne du Maurier's novel of the same name, but one crucial element was changed: the sexuality of the sinister housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers. In the book, Danvers' obsession with the late Rebecca de Winters carries a distinctive lesbian undertone, and her devotion turning into jealousy and madness. Because of the Hays Code, Hitchcock could only imply of her fixation through gesturing and lingering glances. Judith Anderson's cold, restrained performance tells a story the script could not. The way she caresses Rebecca's gown, the near rapturous tone of her voice when she speaks of her late mistress. What censors missed, audiences felt. Rebecca became one of Hollywood's most quietly subversive films.
Streetcar Named Desire, again based on a Tennessee Williams play. Williams again collided with censors in A Streetcar Named Desire, the story of a fragile Blanche Dubois and the brutish Stanley Kowalski. The play's central themes, sexuality, violence, homosexuality, and mental collapse, were too much for Hollywood's moral gatekeepers. Blanche's young husband's suicide, caused by her discovery of his homosexuality, was altered into a vague disgrace. Stanley's sexual assault of Blanche was only suggested, never shown, and the ending was rewritten to punish Stanley rather than let him escape consequences, as in the play. Yet, Elia Kazan's direction and Vivien Leigh's haunting performance let the truth seep through the cracks. Streetcar was about desire in its rawest and most destructive form, wrapped in the silks of propriety. Actually, Stanley raped Blanche in the play, but this was never a thing in the movie. They simply couldn't talk about that or homosexuality back in the 1950s. In the 1936 film These Three, directed by William Wyler and adapted from Lillian Hellman's controversial play The Children's Hour, deliberately omits the original theme of homosexuality that was central to the stage version. Due to the strict Hays Code censorship of the era, which forbid any depiction or mention of the same-sex relationships, the film transformed the story's core scandal, an accusation of lesbianism between two female teachers, into a heterosexual love triangle. This change diluted the play's original exploration of destructive gossip and societal prejudice against homosexuality, instead presenting a safer and moral lesson about lies and jealousy. However, Wyler would later revisit the material in his 1961 remake, a far better film called The Children's Hour, starring Audrey Hepburn and Shirley MacLaine, restoring Hellman's intended subject matter and addressing the implications of same-sex attraction with far greater honesty and emotional depth.
Well, that's it for the bonus video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have other titles that you would like to see added to that list, or if you think I got it wrong on one or two or three of those movies, comment below. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of more of my videos. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.